Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Your Little Castle show. How many people find it important to protect important parts of their, how many, I'll bring it up like this. There's a number of ways to talk about what you guys do, but I mean, a house, super important. And then the second biggest asset is the car. And how do you protect that? How many people lose great value in their car because they don't protect it with the garage? It's a big difference. And it's also great place for people to gather. And there's all kinds of uses for that. And you guys have been doing this for 50 years, celebrating 50 years here. Welcome to the studio, everybody. Dennis Sharp. And we love having the president of the business here, Rick Otto, in the building for Coach House Garages. Did I say that right? I kind of stumbled through some of it, but it's okay because I'm human too. Yeah. And we want people to understand that we have the president and regional director here, making sure that we help the people in our community to have an incredible resource. House first, garage, car, big items people need to make sure that they have properly configured, set up, and in use to protect their assets and make good family situation too, right? Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on here. I tell you, we always have to give a shout out to our guests to introduce the show, and then we talked about our sponsors. So behind you can see here we have Carroll House Furniture, and when you get to some of the best known names in our little planet right here, Carroll House Furniture does an incredible job because they allow us to have nice things in our house, right? Maybe as important as the garage. Sorry, Brooke, but the garage, you got to have that. But you want to have some nice things in the house, and no better place to get those things than from Carroll House Furniture. We're so proud to have them as a sponsor on our show. With that, then, we also need to make sure that when you're protecting the house, and we will make sure that we all have a beautiful place to live, and we got nice furniture in it. But then, how do you get a house? So the nice things in your house for your little castle, but USA Mortgage. If we didn't have a way to purchase that home, then we'd all be in trouble, right? You have to have, most people can't just pay cash for a house. I think in the early days of the houses, that's what they did. Right. But that didn't last long if they wanted everybody to have one of these. And in America, that's a pretty cool resource that most people can attain, and they do the financing. So shout out to USA Mortgage on Your Little Castle show. Then behind you can see we've added a slide here. This is part of the speakers tour slides I stole from my speakers tour list, but it shows we do have so many incredible guests that really make a big difference in our community, and that's why we wanted to invite you guys on. So check out our videos out there. This whole interview will be on our YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all those places people can see all of our videos. But then shout back out there. There's our sponsor. But I wanted to jump right into, we've got behind us here pictures. We're going to get into those in just a minute. But before we get into that, I'm going to put up on the wall your guys' website. And there it is. And I'm going to zoom out for our TV wall wide shot so that people can kind of see what we got going on here. Beautiful website. We got it up on two of our walls there. And incredible information you guys share. So let's get into it. Why did this company get started 50 years ago? Right, and so Rick, we're going to start off with you with that, I suppose, as the young man who knows the history of the company.
Well, in 1973, Willis Miller had an idea of panelizing walls way before his time. Roger Gadbury was a local businessman who sold cars in Mount Zion, Illinois, and he needed a building built, so he called Willis, and Willis said, yes, we could do that. And a couple weeks later, they showed up, built this office building for a used car business. At one point, Roger said to Willis, well, we could be building garages like this, where the walls are all panelized, come out, it's like a big kit form, and it's done rather quickly. And so there was born the idea of the garage business.
Well, I mean, the garage business is something like I talked about. How many houses don't have a garage? And I guess that's part of what you're filling the gap for, because some of your older houses may not have had a garage when they were initially constructed. But these automobile things started catching on. Is that the primary function? I mean, I don't want to sell it. It's just the only thing you do. But it's a key thing because that's what goes into a garage
Cool.
these days, right?
Yes. The garage, yeah, is mostly for the car, but we've expanded to where we're doing, it may be an additional family room off of the house, a place in the garage, a place where you can go, where you might not have room in the house to do things, workshops, that kind of thing. But it's evolved to man caves, she sheds, whatever that may be.
Okay, I like some of that. Dennis, tell us a little bit about why you enjoy.
Well, an
What you-
interesting fact, when I started selling last year and not really realizing the niche that they had, most of the older cities were designed small lots, houses, alleys, garages. So we provide garages in Indiana, Illinois, few in Michigan, I believe, Iowa, and St. Louis. So when I started looking at the layout of the cities, especially St. Louis, and realizing the entire city scope is based upon that concept. So there's a lot of garages to build in the city because everybody's on an alley, everybody's on a small lot, and everybody's got a garage off of an alley. And I think a lot of that born into the fact that there's a real niche for this product.
Well, true. I believe it's obviously something that makes a difference for that house. I mean, it adds a huge resource. I mean, I'll throw a tangent into this if it's all right with you guys. When you're doing an evaluation of a house, an estimate, appraisal, this gets included in the value of the house, right? It's on its property. Sometimes it's attached, sometimes it's separate. Most times, I guess, most of what you guys do, are they separate from the rest of the house, or how do you guys build them? Everything I've seen looked like it was detached.
They're both. We do attached garages and detached garages. And you're right, it does add value to the house. Currently, the economic situation that we're dealing with, now is a good time as any to invest in your property. Compared to, real estate isn't quite as busy as it was a couple years ago, so it's an opportunity to build that garage at your house, add value to your property, and it really does add value.
Dennis,
Yes, sir.
why is that so important?
Well, again, if you look at other places that you can put your money to invest, it seems to be pretty tricky, especially stock market, banks, so on and so forth.
Yep.
But if you have an investment already in your home and you can increase that investment's always going to go positive and never negative. So I think the more people can add to that value of their property, their house, like you said, protect and especially the price of cars going up. I mean, holy cow, I'd want to protect that investment as well. But also, too, to bring up another element that I find, we got a lot more crime going on. We got a lot more situations where people are stealing. And I had a lady that woke up one morning wanting to know when her garage was going to get built because she had some people snooping around underneath of her car, and we couldn't have got it built fast enough for her. So, I mean, when you look at these alley situations, people are looking to protect their investments off the alley issues.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and again, back to protecting that resource that most of us do feel is important to do, to have, because it's hard to transfer around this part of the world without a car, right? Trains, a little bit you can do that. I took the train to Chicago, but other than that, I don't ride a train but once every 2 or 3 years,
Right.
it seems.
Right.
But you got to have a car, and you want to make sure it's protected.
Well, especially in the Midwest where we are, car transportation's big. If you're on the coast, certainly mass transit's the way to go. But where we're here, hubbed in the Midwest, cars are everything.
Yeah. Well, very important. Let's talk a little about the history. I think, Rick, you're going to talk about some of the, give me that rich background. And we talked about it, 1973. I know that era well because that's about the time I was born. I was born in 72, the big 5-0. So I've been around 50 years now, coming up this year, right?
Yes. 50 years. Like I said, mentioned earlier, started by an Amish fellow named Willis Miller. Was a 8th grade education and very brilliant man, but had a dream of building the garages in a timely, efficient manner. So it grew from the first dealer was there in Mount Zion, Illinois, Roger, and then we've just expanded through the years throughout Illinois, portions of Indiana, and here in St. Louis. So it's our goal from even back then was to build a quality building at a fair price. We still do that.
Well, and there's one of the, we talk about what is it that sets businesses apart? How is it that businesses succeed? And it's always got to be a matter of a good quality product at a fair price. If it's not a win-win-win for everyone, then it doesn't work. Stephen Covey, I think, had a book about that, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And so if that's not the key, I mean, that I think is exemplified by the fact that you guys have been around for 50 years. That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Well, the quality product thing, again, I've been selling since last July. I did Home Show, St. Louis Home Show, and I'm introducing our product to a couple people just so happen to stop by, and so happens a gentleman walks by and he stops. He goes, "I have a Coach House garage built 20 years ago." I said, "Sir, where is it built?" Centralia, Illinois. And next thing you know, I just back off, and he's telling this individual about the product, and it sells itself. It's like a culture. People that have had Coach House garages before. I mean, I just did 2 builds where they've had a Coach House garage. They're moving, and they're like, "I want another one." It's amazing when I'm out there selling. We get a lot of referrals off of people seeing a neighbor get a Coach House garage built. And they see what's been reflected in me is the build crew from the foundation was courteous, nice, good people. They remarked on that. They remarked on the quality job they did. But then when the product comes in, they see it installed in basically 4 or 5 hours. They see how well the team works together. And these are young kids, and they're putting together this product, and then they're gone. But more importantly, they don't leave anything behind. No trash. No screws, no nails. They pick everything up. But they wipe the whole garage down and they leave. And then I had one guy garage getting built, and he was crying. I'm like, "John, are you crying?" He's like, "I waited my whole life for this. I cannot believe I'm actually experiencing this."
Integral to the success of a business. And I want to make sure that we cover that important information, because that's what this show is really all about. It's for people to understand that here's how businesses have become successful. We want businesses to come. You're going to share some of your secrets, if you would, which you are. That really helps us to realize you're in it to help everybody, not just to be a successful business for yourself. And you can pick up the tips that we're talking about here. So we're covering a number of those right here. And I want to get into it in a little bit. I've got some notes over here, mostly based in the Midwest, obviously. And you've covered the states I was looking at on the website. Why don't I jump into the website a little bit here? Because I want to show everybody, you guys do have a great looking website. So with that, I'm going to put up on the TV wall here for everybody. There is your website. And yeah, it looks great. And so we can show the locations you guys have here. So when you end up trying to get information about any kind of business, you want to get to where they have their locations outlined in detail. And so I'm going to get over here. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to cheat and look it up from up here. But if you go to the contact page, I believe is where I found this. And then you start to scroll down here, and you can see, so everybody can see there's our heroes making a difference. What you got: Alton, Bloomington, Carbondale, Champaign, Danville, Decatur, Dwight, Effingham, Galesburg, Jacksonville, Mattoon, Mount Vernon, Peoria, Princeton, Quad City, Springfield, and Yorkville. Went through that pretty quickly, but
And you got more over there.
and that's just half of it, right? We got Fort Wayne, Goshen, okay, Indianapolis North and South, Kokomo, Lafayette, Terre Haute, St. Louis, Quad Cities, and Goshen. Again, is that a
that's from the
Michigan location?
Just a little bit in Michigan.
Okay, gotcha.
From the Goshen.
So serving a wide area for everybody to understand that here's where we have the option to serve a lot of people. I mean, I can only estimate the population that you have in that area is dozens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. Not the hundreds yet, but dozens of millions.
If I can interject another concept to what I was just explaining about, when this garage is shipped from Arthur, Illinois, or Peoria, wherever it's shipped,
They'll come from Arthur.
these guys are leaving it early in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
They're driving 2.5, 3 hours to the location. So they're getting out of the truck, and literally, I've watched them, timed them. Within 20 minutes, the trailer's unpacked, and they're already putting up walls. And then after 6-hour day, maybe 7, sometimes 5, they get back in the truck and they go back home. 3 hours, and then they get up the next day and do it again.
You guys may have seen a couple of references there to Jason. We teased a little bit. Your title came up a couple times here because Jason also helps run the region in this area. We're doing the Metro East and Southern Illinois region, right? And so we're going to have him join us here in just a minute. But yeah, we'll go in with that. So I'll do our little, there's a couple ways for me to do this, but hey guys, we're producing the show here live while we do everything. So I'm going to put on us the TV. I'm going to have Rick talk a little bit about why you like this St. Louis region. Wow, we're going to do a switch here. Hopefully you don't even notice what we're doing, but I'm telling you about it. So that's how we do things. We're always upfront about everything we do, even if we mess it up, right? But here it is. So Rick, tell us a little bit why you like the St. Louis region.
Well, for one, I'm a Cardinal fan, so gotta love St. Louis. But for me personally, it goes back to 1994. So the first garage that I ever sold in my sales world was in St. Anne, and but St. Louis has been good to Coach House, and I hope Coach House has been good to St. Louis. We have somewheres around probably 1,500 to 2,000 garages in this area in the 50 years. We've been to St. Louis a lot. We come to St. Louis and we love St. Louis. One of the things is a lot of the older homes in St. Louis downtown area, the whole area there, have a lot of the big old house with a detached garage in the backyard. So some of those have been, over the years, needed to be replaced, and that's where we've come in. And actually our concrete contractor that does work for us here in the St. Louis market has been with us over 30 years. So we look for long-term relationships, friendships that we can build on, knowing that we can trust them, that when we're going out to do the project, that we have the right people going out to do that.
Well, that leads to what I want to talk a little bit here. And now we have Jason on set. Jason, how you doing?
Good.
What is it like serving the Metro East St. Louis area and Southern Illinois? I know that area a little bit. I had a position with a company where I was down there, and oh boy, there's all kinds of Cairo. I think they say Cairo.
Cairo.
Right? And oh boy, going down southeast Missouri State. Sorry, Carbondale, right?
SIU, Carbondale.
SIU, there's Edwardsville and there's Carbondale, but this is the Carbondale region. Yeah,
That's right.
Tell me about that.
It's a great area. I love Southern Illinois, working with the people there. A lot of good people.
And and elaborate on that if you want.
Yeah, I've been in Southern Illinois. Well, grew up in Southern Illinois. Born in Alton, but lived in Southern Illinois since I was 5. I've worked in sales for 25 plus years, covering Southern Illinois, a little bit in Missouri. So it was great to have an opportunity to work with Coach House in Southern Illinois, where I grew up and know so much about it.
Tell me more.
Well, so about 5 years ago, I was in business for myself, had a medical supply business, knew the guys that worked in that Mount Vernon area, covered the Metro East as well, and was looking for my next venture as our business was winding down. And at that point, I learned about Coach House and immediately kind of fell in love with the idea and thought it would be a fun job. Not just a job, but a fun thing to do to help people design something that for some people is a dream, something that they want. Everything I ever sold was things that people needed. So what a switch, hey, this is something they want. They're happier when you're dealing with them, when it's something they're looking forward to having. So I enjoy that about it.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about, Rick, if you will, the companies all over the Midwest here.
Right.
How excited are you to have reps that have such historical track record, proven, helping the community, making a difference?
It's static. We make a all-out effort to find good quality people, and sometimes that goes. Jason and I started talking 5 years ago, something like that. And over the last several years, when a couple people were retiring, I reached out to Jason, and we finally found the right opportunity for Jason. And we believe in it's all about the people. Have good people doing the things we need done, helping our customers, and in the end, we all have a good experience for the customer.
Well, and that gets back into some of the other important components when we talk about high quality products, right? I've got some notes here I made because I do appreciate companies that are doing these things, but treating each other with respect. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about that. They don't write that down. But why do you feel that is so important for the success of your business?
To be respected, one must respect, and it all starts with respecting. I've heard the term, you're the big guy. No, I just work with everybody. We're all in it together. There's no big, me sitting around calling shots. But when you have a great team, all you got to do is let them do their thing. Give them the freedom to do their work, and they will.
Well, if you will, tell me a little bit about the shine. What the Coach House Shine? What does that really mean? And I want to go to Jason for that one first.
Sure.
But I recommend you talk about that too. Go ahead, Jason.
So the shine is all the people that make up what Coach House is and has become,
Yes.
and how well Coach House takes care of their people.
Yeah, and so it's putting that little shine on. It says, we're not just going to make it look good. We're going to make it shine. Okay, now I think I understand what that reference is to, and that's important because it's not just something that looks good and completed. It's got to look dynamite. And does that help add to the value? Obviously, when you're talking about the biggest asset anybody owns in their house, you're adding to that with what you do. I get into that, and not to throw out too much of a tangent, but when a house becomes the biggest asset anyone ever owns for like 98% of the population. So you're really adding to that, and this helps for retirement purposes and the family heirloom and everything that goes along with that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
How that all ties together. Talk to me a little bit about how do you keep things going in a down economy? I know that's something that is, it seems like it's a cycle. It's like this isn't the first time we're potentially in the middle of a down economy or up or wherever we're at, but how does that impact what you guys do and what you're offering and how you respond to that help people?
How do we keep things going in a down economy? Our motto has been forever, we don't participate in a down economy. And part of that is just our mindset that we can only do what we can do, and it's all up to us to do what we normally do and get results. Right now, I kind of touched on earlier, in a down economy, with your money might not be doing good in maybe stock market, 401k, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's better off taking and investing in your property at a time like this, and it's going to give you some return on your investment down the road compared to seeing your money in your portfolio diminish.
Sure, and that back to that most important asset that most people own, being the house that they live in, and gains value traditionally as it appreciates. Right, that's an important piece. Jason, talk to me a little bit about that, and especially over in the how different is Southern Illinois from the other regions? I mean, St. Louis, we're the big city, right? We're not the Chicago, New York, LA, but I was working in that region in Marion and the other parts over there. Little bit different method for the way they do things, and how do you best interoperate there? Because I mean, this may be a bigger decision for some people over there, or how does this help bring value to what you're doing over there?
Well, and so many of the people that I've heard from for leads, half the time they say, oh, well, my neighbor has one or my family member has one. The referral process that we're getting so many people referred by happy customers, that was something that surprised me right out of the gate. When I would hear that, it was great to hear. And just like Dennis said at the home show, people walking by pointing, going, yeah, I've got one of those. You know, that helps, it sells itself. So, and the quality, I wanted to speak of that too. You mentioned, a minute ago, the office I work out of is a demo. I didn't realize how long it'd been there. It's been there almost 40 years. You cannot tell. Looks like it was just put up. It's amazing the durability of our product.
Jason, how excited are you to be part of this company? And I'm going to ask you, as you will be somebody who's out there meeting with people, helping them to make a decision. Tell me the process. First off, you're really excited about what you're doing, and then tell me the process.
Very
somebody
excited,
goes through.
yeah. 5 years ago, I didn't know if it would ever happen, and all of a sudden it's 5 years later, and hey, guys are retiring, it's time. Felt like I got called up from, the majors. But so what I like to do with people is usually it's a phone call. Hey, what are you thinking? That's how I start. What are you thinking? And let them tell me, and then I kind of take it from there, and we figure out kind of the pieces and parts. And once we have that, and maybe kind of a rough idea, hey, I'd like to come out and meet you. Let's get together. Let's look at your site. Let's see where we're going to put it. Measure out where they're going to put it, and so they can kind of start to see for themselves too. And then from there, we pick colors and how they want it to look, and then it just falls into place from there.
One topic I always like to touch on, and that is, how do you guys contribute to the community beyond the job, beyond the work, beyond the employees that you hire and give jobs to? Tell me a little bit about what you guys do in the community.
Well, and one of the things is we employ good people and try to pay a living wage, not a minimum wage, to the employees so that they can provide for their families and all. But additionally to that, we try to help with local community projects. For the past 3-4 years, I believe it is now, one of the Habitat for Humanity homes that gets built in Central Illinois, we donate and build the truss, the roof system for that home, and deliver it and contribute. That's thousands of dollars of trusses, but it saves that person with the Habitat home from having to pay additional on their mortgage. Touched on mortgages earlier, but it's one of the things that we try to do in the community.
Well, you guys are just exemplary in terms of if a business can model after any business to be successful. And as we started to research you guys a little bit, we said 50 years, that's not normal.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, stay tuned for more. Carter Rethwish, aka the Cardinal Cowboy. We're always trying to bring excitement to you guys and a little bit more of what we do in the community and the leaders that are doing so. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Do take the opportunity to watch everything we've put out there on our social media. You can see a list of other high-profile, highly successful, and even just good people that are making a difference in our little planet. On our website, you can get a link to all of our social media. So check that all out, and we'll talk to you guys some more. Thanks, everybody.